Hey, what's up guys? This is Sherman from Steam for Life. Firstly, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, and it's been a while since I uploaded something on this channel. Obviously, I think the last recording was uploaded a couple of weeks ago, which is last month. I have been quite busy, obviously with a new custom workstation from Dream Core. I don't know why my mind blanked out earlier, but yeah, so I got this new workstation. It's the Alpha Pro from Dreamcore. It's actually a local system integrator, boutique system integrator. So I felt that I always wanted to support the little guys. Not that they are little, but I mean there are other players in the market, right? There are other players in industry, and some have been around for quite some time. So in comparison to those companies, Dreamcore is what I would consider the little guy. So I always have a soft spot for the little guys, so I guess in some ways I always felt relatable to that reality, because in my own life, all the challenges and struggles I've been through, I've always been like that little guy myself. So yeah, perhaps that's where the sentiment comes from. So anyway, they did an amazing job. Once I received the custom workstation, I spent weeks working on it, fine-tuning the settings, going to the BIOS, basically doing all the setup, whole setup process. And things are great. I managed to pop in a few upgrades. I managed to sort of replace some of the peripherals that I use, for example the USB hub, and then I managed to get a external deck, which I just received yesterday. So the external deck is something that I will need time to dig into, because there are so many features on the Sound Blaster X3, and so far I've only really touched the surface of what it can do. And I have to be honest, in spite of all the different reviews that I've watched on YouTube by other tech reviewers, I would say that the X3 has been pretty impressive so far. Now, I will say this though, I do believe from my own experiences in life that sometimes not every single piece of hardware will work for every use case. So for the Sound Blaster X3, regardless of other reviewers' opinions of how they felt about it, I think everybody's ears is different, and everybody's experience with the different decks and different sound cards are going to be very different as well. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I think over time it's up to us individually to sort of get a feel of what works best for us individually, and to just go with that. So yeah, I mean, some people would say that the FPS mode for the X3 might not work for them, but there are a minority of users in the community that actually feels that the FPS mode for the X3 works great for them. So from there, I guess you can deduct that, depending on your your ears and how you listen to sound and audio, everybody picks up audio very differently. So for me, I'm gonna just take a very unbiased view towards experiencing this product for myself. And obviously, being an audiophile, at the end of the day, what concerns me the most before I make my next purchase decision, or maybe when I want to look for another deck in the near future to experience, to try out, is to first understand, what are the Sound Blaster X3's strengths for me personally, and what use cases are not ideal with the X3 for me. Then based on that, I would be looking at other options to say, okay, so maybe I'm going to try something else that might maybe be better, or maybe it complements the X3. So it's sort of like toggling between the two. But one of the things I plan to do, obviously, is to get a dedicated sound card. Because I have the MSI RTX 3070, I'm not complaining. It's worth a lot of money right now in the PC building, in the PC gaming world, right? GPUs right now are worth a lot, especially the 3070 and above. So I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing out the fact that it's actually a really big GPU. It's a huge piece of hardware, and I don't think I'll be able to mount it horizontally. I don't think there's space if I get a dedicated sound card. So there's a very good chance I would have to do a sort of a vertical mount. And I've been looking at those PCIe one slot that you can actually sort of extend it to the motherboard. So that is something that I will be looking into as well. All right, so basically this past month I've also been I recently upgraded my phone. Obviously the old one has spoiled and I needed a replacement, so I finally got the Samsung S21 Ultra. So I actually have it here. Really awesome phone, by the way, but a bit on the heavy side, even for me, someone that always loves big screens, and I've always been very into tech gadgets for a very, very long time, for as long as I can remember. So I'm always into the latest and greatest if I could afford it, you know. But in recent years, I've been a little bit more reserved. I have sort of learned through school of hard knocks that, you know, you can't really always be chasing the latest technology, because there will always be something better. So at the end of the day, it's really about finding something that is, I would say, value for money, maybe a little bit on the future proofing side, so that when you actually pay for a particular hardware, you can actually use it for a longer period of time, knowing that it will still be relevant, you know, a few years down the road, you know, so you don't feel the need or the urge to want to upgrade the device or the hardware or the product that you're buying. So that's generally speaking. So I got the new phone. Obviously I got it at a really, really huge discount off the MSRP, thanks to the sort of the monthly flash sale. Nowadays, you know, with the pandemic, COVID-19, and we are all working from home, most of us are doing a lot of online shopping. So all these online e-commerce businesses have been doing monthly flash sales like crazy. I mean, you can find one flash sale almost every 2 weeks or almost every week. So it's pretty, really crazy, in my opinion. This would never have been possible pre-pandemic. But it's a good thing. I'm very, very grateful for that, because I managed to get so many things that I needed or wanted at huge discounts. And obviously, you know, making sure that I don't overspend as well. So the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra is an amazing content creator's device. I say this regularly on my social media platforms, in sort of a, I would say, an indirect product recommendation, right? When I share about my feelings and thoughts about using the device. So I still want to reiterate what I feel about this device. I think that it's not for the regular consumers. Yeah, it not only does it have a very big screen, it's actually on the heavy side, you know, when it comes to mobile devices. So not something that will suit most users. But when you are thinking about content creation, when you want to do a lot of photos and you want to do a lot of shoots and videos, but you do not want to spend the money on really expensive hardware like a DSLR camera, or certain cameras can be quite expensive, really good ones. I used to be in that line of hobby. It's what most people consider expensive hobby. So I know firsthand that investing in cameras, lenses, and getting all the different things that you need for the setup can be quite an investment. So if you're just starting out as a content creator, I've been doing this for a number of years already, but if you are starting out, and you are concerned about that initial huge investment that you need to pour into it, I would think that a lot of smartphones today have very, very good camera capabilities. Even for the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, in my view, I would say that the hardware is really promising. The software is pretty good, but there's potential for the software to be a lot better in terms of matching the potential that the hardware could potentially provide. So, in other words, this device is, in my view, at least good for the next 2 to 3 years, at least. So, yeah, when you translate the functionality, the features, the quality of those features into like the cost of the device, I think it's really, really good, really value for money. It's why I decided to go for this device. I got the 12 GB model, 12 GB RAM, and 256 GB memory. Obviously, there's no SD card slot anymore, hence they lower the price. I can understand why, but I'm not here to do a review about the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. But to point out that I got this new upgrade, and anyway, so the whole month of April has been quite hectic, working on my new custom workstation, adjusting to the new system, new environment, the new setup. Basically, my whole work from home setup has been upgraded at this point. I managed to put my Thronmax microphone and the boom stand to my work desk. I managed to sort of optimize my space quite a fair bit. I'm quite happy with the progress so far. I don't think that there's room for improvement. Whenever I look at my desk, I feel that there's room for improvement. But compared to 6 months ago, compared to a year ago, I definitely feel like I've come a long way since then. So yeah, I'm truly happy with the progress that I've been making. Slow, no doubt, but slow is better than no progress, right? And then in May, last week, the very first week of May, I actually had intention, whatever I'm doing right now, I actually had planned to do it last week, so that this week I could actually start recording videos for some of the contents that I had planned to work on. But somehow I didn't manage to get to do that. I was having some personal challenges, and the whole week just went by like that. And honestly, it's not what I had expected. It's not what I hoped for, but I guess in life sometimes things happen, right? Things that you don't expect would happen. So anyway, now this week onwards, it's probably time for me to start playing around with my new setup. It's time for me to start doing my audio tests, my video tests, to really get a gauge of how this new setup is compared to when I tried to do similar recordings on my gaming laptop previously. There were some audio issues back then. I couldn't really figure out why. So I did further research and I did some Googling and sort of tried to figure out how best to make the most, or how best to get the most out of the setup that I have right now. So I've done a few sort of dummy videos earlier today. So far, it does sound pretty okay, pretty good, I would think. But I needed to do a much longer video to really set a benchmark, because in my previous setup, when I did videos that were roughly 20 minutes long or longer than 20 minutes, that's when I really started to experience or that's when I start to get those audio clippings. So basically, I would say a particular word, and half of that word would be clipped off, or the video would sort of have a moment where it would skip, for a split second. So there were some issues with that. I'm obviously, until today, I still had no idea what was the reason behind that happening. But so far with this new setup, when I did my dummy recordings earlier, it seemed okay. So hopefully, I'm feeling hopeful. So with this video log, I guess we will find out soon enough if the audio is good. Now, another thing I realized is that finally, with the Sennheiser HD600 that I'm using right now, coupled with the Sound Blaster X3, the DAC, right, the new sound card, it really, really is amazing. When I listen to my own playback, without the equalizer, I mean with the equalizer set to flat, right, and not enabling the SPX file with the different settings on, it still sounds pretty good. So when I turn on those settings, man, it is absolutely amazing. I feel like for the very first time, I feel like I'm actually listening to myself in a studio environment. It's kind of like when I was growing up, I had this secret wish that, I mean, yes, I did want to be a doctor. Don't laugh at me, but I did want to be a doctor growing up. That was one of my dreams. But I had this secret side career, this side dream for my career, whereby I actually dreamt about being a radio DJ. So when I was listening to my playback earlier today, I realized that I sounded like a DJ on air. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I was pretty blown away by that. But yeah, one of the goals of why I want to do my video tests and my audio tests is to make sure that for a lot of, I would say, lame users, people that are not audiophiles, people that probably would never touch the EQ settings for their speakers, or their laptops, or their phones. It's really just, they just put in the earplugs, and or they use their normal speakers, and whatever comes out of those devices is what they're going to hear. So no EQ tunings and so on. So ultimately, what I want to do is to tune my audio for these recordings, so that when they actually view it via YouTube or Facebook, they would be able to hear exactly what I want them to hear. So that is ultimately the standard that I want to achieve. Alright, so that's it for my video log for this week. I think, I've done about 20 minutes, 21 minutes already. So it's pretty good benchmark to start doing the playback and review this video and do some editing in Premiere. And I'll be uploading this to my YouTube channel, obviously. So if you like my video logs and you want to watch, future video logs like this, what I'll call Steam journals, do subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me a like below. Right, so I always find it a little bit hard because my webcam is a little bit high up top on the monitor screen. So sometimes when I try to point to the bottom of the screen, it's a little bit hard to sort of get the right place. Yeah, so do subscribe, give me a like if you like my video. I will be, obviously, when I feel that the audio test and the sound test and everything is good, I will start uploading actual video contents to this YouTube channel. All right, until the next time, I will see you guys and talk to you soon. Bye.